If you could only pick 3 marketing strategies to take your business to new heights, which would you choose? In this video, you'll discover the top 3 actions I took to grow my business into multi-6 figures to 7 figures, and how to apply them to your business today. First, so important, you get to decide to only work with ideal clients and get crystal clear on who they are. Unfortunately, for a lot of CEOs, this is a place they get stuck because there's a belief that there's not enough. There's not enough clients for all of us. There's not enough customers for all of us, right? There's not enough. And so I have to take what I can get. And when I started my own business in the beginning, I felt that way for sure. And I think most people do. It's like, oh, I opened my business. Who has a credit card, right? Like, who can pay me? I got to pay my bills. We're very focused on just, growing that business because we don't feel like we have the luxury of time and trying to figure out, who our perfect client is. However, this is why I'm sharing this with you. I remember a time when this all changed for me. I was invited to coach a sales team. And I was really excited about it on the front end, right? I went in, I had the sales meeting. I thought, oh my gosh, I can coach these 10 salespeople. But there were a few initial red flags. And when you see the red flag and you think, I can overcome that, or, oh, it's not such a big deal. And the red flags kept coming and I kept kind of overcoming them and thinking, oh, it'll be okay. And so I remember, if you're working harder than the client during the initial sales meetings, there's probably something off. Long story short, closed the deal, started coaching the sales team. And what I found out very quickly was this sales team did not want to be coached. They were paid very well. They didn't have to be accountable. They didn't have to show up to work. And this is long before the pandemic, right? So this was at a time when you actually were supposed to go into the office, and they didn't have to. And their CEO thought that was just fine. And I talked to the CEO and I said, it's really tough to coach your team when they don't have to be accountable. And he said, well, that's just the way it is. Now, I should have asked some clarifying questions ahead of time, but I didn't. And I signed a contract to coach this team for 6 months. I will tell you, it was 6 rough months. Out of the team of 10, there was one woman, I'll never forget her. There was one woman on the team who wanted to be coached. There were other women, but there was only one who wanted to be coached. Other men and women, actually. She would show up to every meeting. She was on time. And of course, she was their top salesperson. Top salespeople, top business people like you love learning. That's why you're here. You love to be educated. You love to be coached. And of course, her sales got better and better. Unfortunately, nothing's changed for anyone else because they never showed up. And the CEO blamed me. He said, Ursula, they're not showing up. They're not improving. And I said, you're not requiring them to show up, so they don't. And so I tried to work with him a little bit on accountability and how to help his team be more accountable, but that was kind of left on deaf ears. All that to say, at the end of that 6 months, I can still remember to this day driving out of that driveway. I can still see, it was in Orange, California. I can still see the driveway. I'm driving out of that driveway. And the thing that my thought was, I will never, ever, ever work with a client who's not an ideal client again. And I never have. When I see or I hear a red flag, I believe it. When you hear or see a red flag, believe it. Say no, you can walk away. There's plenty of clients for everyone. So as we continue this journey talking about marketing, I do have another story that I'm going to share at the end, and it's about my newsletter, or as we call it sometimes, an Ezine, and how I've been sending that out for 15 years. So we'll talk about that at the end. The second marketing strategy to really grow your business is to be really clear on the 3 ways that you actually market. And you want those 3 ways to be 3 ways that you actually love to market, not that you feel that feels super painful, not that you don't want to do. It's not like pulling teeth, right? It's 3 ways that you love to market. And this is one of the challenges I see CEOs having, is that often they're told to market in a certain way or do certain things, but they don't like doing those things. I'll give you an example. Not everybody loves to network, right? And yet maybe you've been told you have to network to grow your business. Well, there's many different ways to network. There's many different ways many things that could mean, but maybe instead you love speaking. Maybe you love speaking from the stage. Well, that's a way to network to many, but it's very different because it's not a lot of one-on-one conversations. In other words, find 3 ways to market that you really enjoy. In my own business in the beginning, it was networking, it was speaking, and it was my newsletter. Those were the 3 things that I did. The key was that I did them consistently, which we'll talk about. Those 3 ways have evolved over time. Today in my business, I still have 3 ways that I market, but they're a little bit different. Today it's like this, right? We connect virtually, we connect online. Today we also have a podcast, which I didn't have back then. We still have the Ezine, we still do the e-marketing. That's still one of the things we do, but I'm not doing as much networking as I used to. I'm not doing as much speaking as I used to. All that to say, right? So to summarize, you want to come up with 3 ways to market. Know that those 3 ways will evolve as you evolve and as your company evolves. I've got tons of marketing videos on this channel, by the way. If you want to take your business to the next level, definitely take a look at those also. The third proven marketing strategy, and this is so important, and I touched on it a second ago, is to be consistent in your marketing. Whatever the 3 things are that you're going to do, you want to do them consistently, which sounds super obvious, but this is one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs, and it's one of the reasons we see our revenue go like this, because we'll try some marketing and it might work really well, and then we stop doing it, and then our kind of revenue sags and we're wondering what happened, and then we remember what we were doing and we start doing it again. To make it consistent, you want to build a marketing calendar, which seems so simple, but it's what multi-billion-dollar companies do. It's what startups do that are successful, and you can do that as well. It can be as simple as putting it on a Google Calendar. The easiest way to create a successful, consistent marketing calendar is to work backwards from your end result, right? So if you want to have a 7-figure business, that's $83,333 a month. What I would do if I were working directly with you is we'd sit down together, we'd look at this $83,333 goal a month, and we'd ask the question, what is the fastest and easiest way to get there? That also, of course, is ethical and allows you to connect with your top clients, all of those pieces. And then we work backwards from that. So maybe 3 months before that month of January, we want to hit 83,000, we're doing a live webinar, for example. And then maybe you're speaking on a couple of stages. Maybe you're running some ads as well, right? There's key things, because what you want to create within those 3 ways is the way that will make reaching your $83,333 a month inevitable. And so by reverse engineering it, you want to overfill that pipeline. So it's like, oh yeah, it's almost inevitable that I would reach that goal. So again, you want to create that marketing calendar and reverse engineer how to get there. I'm really excited to share my final story about the newsletter and the difference it's made in my business in the last 15 years. But before we do that, let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about your marketing. Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel like it's really working? Or how has what I've shared today really resonated with you? So over 15 years ago, when I started my company, I started my newsletter. That's what we called it 15 years ago. It was a newsletter. An some people probably still call that. Eventually we started calling it an Ezine, which was kind of fancy, right? But basically it was an update on what was going on in my company, what we're doing with our clients, and how we're helping them. A couple years ago during the pandemic, I had a client reach out to me who shared that she had been on my list, my Ezine list, had been getting my Ezine for over 15 years. Now, she's not the only one who has shared that. I've had other clients show up in my world and say, I'm always been on your list. Yours is the one that I don't opt out of. I love getting your newsletters. I love getting your emails. I love listening to your podcast, which means a lot. The reason I'm sharing this story with you is because I don't want you to underestimate the power of consistent marketing. If you're doing an Ezine or a newsletter, do it every single month. I've been doing it every single month for 15 years. When you do that, you create this consistent conversation with your clients so that they feel connected to you. They want to do more business with you. They want to refer people to you, right? Or they're receiving the information that's helping them grow their business, which is the best and most important part about this. And so to bring this all together, I hope these 3 marketing strategies really helped you think about your marketing today and what you can do to connect with more ideal clients, what you can do to consistently market 3 ways, and what you can do to continue to build relationships with your clients over the years. Here are 3 proven marketing strategies to help you grow your business now. First, decide to only work with ideal clients and get crystal clear on who that client is. So often it's easy to just think we have to work with everyone when that's just a lie, because you don't. Second, choose 3 ways to market and make sure those 3 ways to market are ways that you love. Unfortunately, we often try all kinds of different ways to market, but they might not be the ways that help you the most. And third, be super consistent in your marketing. Whatever those 3 ways are, I want you to do it consistently. And an easy way to do that is to create a marketing calendar to work backwards from your end result, your end revenue result, to figure out exactly how to make reaching your goal inevitable. Now that we talked marketing, stick with me because up next, we're going to talk about the different sales strategies that you can use to be successful. And remember, your 2X is waiting for you too.